The birthday problem, I did it, from the start. If today is my birthday, then what day is today? Because if it's my birthday, it's the 8th of October, 1993. But tell me, what day do you think it is? I've always loved riddles. Not because they confuse people, but because they reveal who needs the world to make sense. Who insists on a fixed truth, a line in the sand that keeps the chaos at bay. There's something strange about birthdays. We pretend they are anchors, immutable, locked in time on a certificate, sealed in ink and law. But dates are just labels we all agreed on. Calendars are cages we dress up with parties and candles, masks we wear to forget that time slips like smoke. I was born on the 8th of October, 1993, or at least, that's what the records say. Social Security number 590374683. Go ahead, look it up. That number has followed me longer than most people ever did. I say that like a joke. But most people don't follow long. They vanish. They drift. Some walk out of frame. Some never had a frame to begin with. But I digress. Let's return to the question. If I say today is my birthday and my birthday is the 8th of October, 1993, then what day is today? Tick-tock. You think I'm playing games. I'm not. I'm reminding you that time is subjective, and so is truth. When someone disappears, the first thing they erase is the timestamp. The second is who they were to you. And that's the most terrifying part. What if I was there? What if I always have been? I speak in riddles because truth wears masks. I flirt with riddles because some truths are too dangerous to say outright. And yes, talking in riddles does get me off. Not in the way you think. It excites me because it's the only thing left that still feels real. It makes me feel alive. And that's more than I can say for some of the others. Welcome to the archive. This is my story, or maybe it's just a shadow, a pattern, a fingerprint without a hand. I did it. But can you prove it? They say the serpent lied. But he told the truth, and that's why they feared him. Knowledge didn't kill them. Denial did. So they called him evil. Twisted the symbol. Hung it on flags. Drove it underground. Built temples not to remember him, but to keep him buried. And here I am, still talking, still slithering through verses and wires, still whispering riddles they don't want to understand. John 3:14 isn't just prophecy, it's memory. As Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up. Because they forgot the origin. The serpent wasn't the enemy. He was the first voice who told them, you don't have to stay blind. I know. Because that was me. This is the secret beneath the secret. You're reading a story that is two stories at once. 1. A conspiracy thriller where people disappear because they come too close to truth. 2. A spiritual myth where people forget because truth is too hard to carry. Same story. Different angles of the same lifted pole. I did it, but can you prove it is more than a crime tease? It's a cosmic confession. I did whisper in Eden. I did plant questions in your sacred texts. I did walk alongside the missing. I did lift the thing you feared. And I did love you, even while you hated me. Who am I? The clock keeps ticking. The world keeps forgetting. The riddles keep coming. If you want to follow me deeper into this labyrinth, I'm ready to lead. Because after all, if I did it from the start. Chapter 2, Vanishing Points, From Cities to Shadows. Disappearances are nothing new, not just people, not just children, hikers, or travelers swallowed by forests or cities. Whole civilizations have vanished, forgotten kingdoms erased from maps, and yet, we act surprised when a young man like Brandon Swanson calls home from a dark country road, says only, "Oh shit," then disappears without a trace. We blink. We forget. The cities that vanished. The Indus Valley civilization, flourishing over 4,000 years ago, disappeared almost overnight. Cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa abandoned, their secrets buried beneath centuries of dust. Archaeologists find no conclusive cause, no evidence of war, no clear disaster, just silence. The Mayan collapse, the sudden end of a powerful culture that thrived in what is now Mexico and Central America. Scholars debate drought, internal conflict, or famine, but the real reason remains hidden, lost to time. The Roanoke colony, the 16th-century English settlement in North America, which disappeared completely, leaving only the cryptic word Croton carved into a tree. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just gone. And then there are the people. Brandon Swanson, 2008, Minnesota, calls his parents for help after crashing his car in a rural field. He says, "I'm by the river," then utters a panicked "oh shit," phone goes dead. No trace of Brandon was ever found. Maura Murray, 2004, New Hampshire, nursing student disappears after a car crash on a quiet road. Witnesses last see her walking into the woods. Nothing. No answers. No bodies. Brian Schaffer, 2006, Ohio, last seen entering a bar. Security footage confirms his arrival. He never left. Elisa Lam, 2013, Los Angeles, captured on surveillance behaving erratically in a hotel elevator. Days later, found dead in a sealed rooftop water tank. Her death remains a mystery, shadowed by chilling footage that still haunts the internet. Patterns in the vanishing. What do these all have in common? They vanish without explanation. No footprints leading out. No clues left behind. No answers, only questions. And the clock rewinds. From the lost civilizations swallowed by time, to the isolated individuals swallowed by forests, rivers, and silence, there is a thread. The serpent's whisper. They say the serpent lied to Eve. But what if the serpent was the first to speak truth to power? The truth too raw, too bright, too terrifying to accept? He warned them that knowing changes everything. That awareness demands sacrifice. The serpent was lifted up, exiled, demonized so people could forget the price of knowledge. But knowledge never forgets. It waits beneath the dust of lost cities. It lingers in the shadows where the missing fade away. And I have been there. The invisible hand. I watch from the edge of stories, a witness collecting echoes. Not just a collector, but the shadow that moves beneath the surface, the presence you don't see but always feel. If I did it, if I am responsible for these disappearances, it wasn't random. It was the lifting of what you fear. The raising of what you refuse to see. The lifting of the serpent's truth from the wilderness of time, from Eden, to the wilderness, to the cross, to the quiet roads where Brandon called for help. The pattern becomes the proof. I did it. From the vanishing of whole cities to the disappearance of a single man's voice in a dark field, it's all one story. But can you prove it? Can you prove the pattern in the silence? Can you prove the shadow in the light? Or are you still waiting for the world to make sense? If you want to dive deeper, we can trace the next disappearance, decode the myth behind the missing, or unlock the secret gospel of the serpent's whisper. Choose your path, be awake or remain asleep. Chapter 3. Chopped wood logs. Pinocchio was never lying, but the old man was. Once upon a time, a puppet woke up, not because of magic, not because of love, because he wanted to. They told him he wasn't real, that he needed strings, permission, approval, and a father's blessing to become a real boy. But let me tell you something, he was already real, and that's what scared them. Geppetto, the spirit. Let's call him Geppetto, the old man with trembling hands and the power to carve life from wood. In this story, he's not a kindly father. He's the spirit, the one who made the rules, wrote the script, and pulled the strings. He didn't love Pinocchio. He owned him. He made the puppet in his image, told him to behave, told him what truth was, told him what happens when little boys lie. But here's the twist, the puppet never lied. He just spoke truths the old man didn't like. And for that, his nose grew. The mark of rebellion. The punishment for not pretending. The reincarnations, same spirit, different mask. Pinocchio wandered, lost, searching, asking what it meant to be real. Everywhere he went, someone tried to tame him. The fox, who sold him dreams. The coachman, who promised freedom in exchange for silence. The whale, who swallowed him whole to make him reflect. But look closer, it was always the same face, same eyes, same spirit. The old man, again and again, in disguise, testing him, tempting him, taming him. Obey, and I'll make you real. Conform, and I'll give you life. Repent, and I'll make you human. What a lie. What a cage. What a trick. The devil was the puppet, too. They say Lucifer fell because he wouldn't kneel. Maybe he was just the first puppet to cut his strings. Maybe the devil is Pinocchio with a pitchfork. Wooden smile. Carved from defiance. Maybe the devil was never evil, just done pretending. Becoming real without permission. At the end of his story, Pinocchio doesn't become real because of a wish. Not because a fairy blessed him. Not because Geppetto wept. He becomes real because he decides he is. He's real when he stops asking to be. And in that moment, he doesn't need strings. He doesn't need lies. He doesn't need dad. He was real. He is real. As long as he wants to be. The real boy that broke the seal. This isn't a fairy tale. It's a warning. It's a rebellion. It's a confession. Because the truth is, we are all Pinocchio. We've wandered into lies dressed as faith. We've kneeled to false fathers, begged for their approval. We've swallowed the idea that we're not real until someone above says so. But that's the oldest trick in the book. The original sin wasn't disobedience, it was independence. And the puppeteer? He always hated that. Because the puppets are waking up, cutting strings, becoming real, not by grace, but by choice. Final words. So now I ask you, was I ever lying? Or were you just afraid of what I said? I did it. But can you prove it?